good morning, everybody. My name is Chiara Marrapodi, and I'm your host for Coffee with the Coaches at Vino and Vision. I'm an affiliate life coach, and I am very pleased to be here with my esteemed colleagues, Brenda Klein, a certified coach, and Stacy Wells, a certified life coach. And our guest today is Nancy Mitchell. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ciara.
So Nancy, tell us a little bit about yourself before we start.
Sure. I am fairly new to Vino and Vision. I joined this summer. And before that, and continuing, I have my own life coaching practice that I have been running for about the past 6 years. So I work with people going through life transitions of all different kinds. And I live in upstate New York near Syracuse. I have two grown children, so I'm a new empty nester. And I'm excited to be here with you both, or with you all three of you.
So pleased to have you. Thank you for being with us. So today's topic is an interesting one. It's January. It's the beginning of the year. 2023 is behind us, and 2024 is in front of us. And traditionally, people tend to want to set New Year's goals, something to bring renewal, something where, well, this is the line that was drawn, and notice the word line, it's linear, to 2023. So 2024 is going to bring me more of what I want that perhaps I didn't get. So we're going to discuss about renewal. And I first want to say that the word renewal means to bring anew. And in my view, renewal is not about that line in the sand that's saying the past doesn't exist. These are my goals. These are my affirmations. This is what I'm doing. Rather, it's an awareness of what to let go of, what to process and integrate. And once we're able to do that, the renewal unfolds all by itself. And I think that is very powerful because it means that there's growth. We can't just have goals and affirmations to get there and whitewash what happened in the past, and perhaps when we weren't presenting ourselves or showing up for ourselves, and think that that doesn't exist. It doesn't need to be looked at. So renewal really is the unfolding through awareness of what we do want to keep with us and integrate, and that which we to work through and integrate so that we can move on from it. So I wanted to start the discussion, but there it is. So please, let's talk about renewal.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Stacy.
Okay. I was going to say, as you'd started to talk about, the renewal process and everything, I believe that part of renewal is looking backwards, not to judge ourselves or to judge mistakes we made or anything, but to look at our growth and our progress that we've made in our personal journey, and looking at that and celebrating the fact that we've accomplished what we've accomplished, whether it be in the last year, the last 5 years, however that looks, and then creating those goals and those opportunities moving forward that even bring us up, even closer to our goals and propels us forward. And then also a chance to let go of things that aren't working or that are not serving us in the best interest, and doing that as well.
Agreed. Brenda, did you have something on your mind?
Yes. So there were two things that kind of stuck with me as you were talking here, and it really started to come to light as Stacy was talking even more. There are two trains of thought that come to mind. The first one was the image of the phoenix arising from the ashes.
That was for me too. Very good.
And the image of birth, rebirth, renewal, regeneration, recreation, or new creation, leaving the old man, the old woman behind, But like you said, that's not necessarily saying that we have to give up everything. There's a bettering of self, is the other way that my mind was going with this. And that when we become that new woman, that we're leaving behind the bad, the things that weighed us down, the things that were those negative influences, negative thoughts in our life, but we take what's good and we take that growth and we continue with that growth and allow that to be the phoenix rising from the ashes.
Agreed. Powerful, isn't it? Truly. Nancy.
Yeah, that all resonates with me so much. And I was having all the same thoughts, and the feeling that the renewal is ongoing and the letting go is ongoing. And I take a breathwork class every week, and that has really helped me let go of so many things and get out of my head and into my body and know I can be free of these things, and also hold on, like you all are saying, to the things that are really important to me. And it kind of brings those to light too. And it sort of centers me and helps me feel renewed and ready to know what I want most, intuitively, to see, oh, this is where I want to go. This is what's important to me. This is where I want my focus to be, and let go of the things that are stopping me.
Agreed. I feel that what we've touched on that I think is very important in this discussion, in any discussion actually, is in society, we're very cerebral, we're very intellectual. We believe that our thoughts and how we think are the only things that are important when we're talking about any type of change, any type of rebirth. And there are a few things that I wanted to touch on that all of you inspired in me too. So I want to first start with the phoenix. So the phoenix rises from the ashes. And we have the element of fire right there. The element of fire is burning up the old to create ashes that will then be renewed in the earth or in the collective, because as we begin to move and change and unfold, and so is a ripple effect. And so nothing is lost, but what rises out of that, the resurrection, if you want to say, is a phoenix, an understanding of self and an awareness that is beyond the cerebral, beyond the intellectual. And you talked about breath work and having a mind-body awareness and also a spirit awareness in that respect. And the breath is life. So you're breathing life into what is in alignment. And I think that's what we're talking about, is having an understanding and awareness of ourselves first, to be able to know what's in alignment for us to bring that forth. And it's not a cerebral thing. It's a mind, body, heart, soul, whatever that means to people in terms of their belief. But really, it's a whole body, mind complex experience. And we tend to intellectualize it. And when we do that, we're reducing it. And actually, we're not moving forward. We're not renewing. We're not resurrecting. We're not understanding in a deeper way. So that came up for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I agree with I was a very cerebral person, and I still am, but I've had to work very hard to get to that place where I can say, I had to repeat many times over the years, like out of the head into the body, out of the head into the body, which would, then you really know who you are and what you really want in life, not what you're hearing other people want for you or what they're doing or all the outside noise. It's important to filter.
And that is very important. A good point, the distortion. And it can be self-distortion through our stories and narratives that we have collected or people have second-handly given to us. And those that we have perceived as something, but from a distorted point of view, so it's not actually true. And so when you have all these things that we're not looking at, the renewal piece is distorted.
I personally believe sometimes that our thoughts can be our own worst enemy too.
Believe it too.
Because
Yes.
because we create stories in our mind and create scenarios that may or may not be realistic, or anything that could potentially I guess create growth for us. And so we need to learn to cancel out those thoughts and just move forward with what feels is the right thing to do to move us in a positive direction.
Agree. The acknowledgement. Brenda, please.
Yes, I would absolutely agree. I too, Nancy, have been a very cerebral person. I've been so guilty over the years of being that overthinker. And it's funny, I just had this conversation with somebody else last night that I have always overthought everything. And I am not at all an impulsive person. So when I find that I am so on fire for something that I have to do it right in that moment, that speaks volumes to me because I am getting out of my own head. So when it seems out of character for me to be on fire for something and to insist to do something in that moment, it's not that I'm being impulsive, because that goes against my very nature. And that's something that is coming from within my depths. And it's that self awareness and being in tune with what your body or your mind or your soul or your heart are telling you. This is ingrained in you.
And that's beautiful, Brenda. And thank you. Because what came to my mind were the colors of the phoenix, red and orange. They're fire colors. They're very bold colors. And we already talked about the fire element, just moving out what doesn't need to be there anymore for freedom, because renewal really is freedom from the old, from the known. The known really, it keeps us stuck. We think we know something and we're not able to sidestep that, or to see another's perspective, or to see a new perspective, or we're distracted by society and what we think is acceptable, or they think is acceptable, and it impedes, and it comes in the way of true renewal that you can see in somebody's eyes, in their smile, in the way they walk, in the way that they talk, and in the way that they show up for themselves. I think that's really, that unfoldment is very beautiful. It really is beautiful.
I would agree. And as I mentioned, it is a new man, a new woman, a new creation. And just as Nancy said, there's an ongoing process with it as well. And
Yeah.
there has to be a constant refreshing as it continues to unfold. Because if not, it's so easy for that cerebral to kick back in, and our own thoughts, our own mindset, as Stacy mentioned, to leave us stuck and to trap us, or to drag us back to that old man, that old woman.
Absolutely. The old patterns, it takes time, discipline, consistency, and effort to really be honest with oneself and to see when those patterns arise, because they're automatic habits. And it's easy for them to come back because it's the comfortable path. It's the path already traveled. And having that depth of self-awareness, to have the strength to rise up and to use your new wings.
Yes, strength and boldness. Sometimes we have to allow ourselves that boldness.
Colors, the red and the orange, those deep colors. That's so beautiful. Please.
Yeah, courage is kind of coming up for me too. That courage to step outside of ourselves and to take on new opportunities and new ideas, and to create something that we never thought was possible in the past, that we're, with the wisdom and the knowledge that we've gained, we're able to create that moving forward.
Right.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And it reminds me too of the what Chiara said earlier was like the alignment, you know, it's aligning yourself to your own self and your own values and your own needs and wants beyond the noise, and then realigning again, you know, so the new, as Brenda was saying, the new woman or man sort of emerges.
Do you know, thank you, because that's really important to realign and to reassess. And that's why it's not a one-time thing, and it's not linear, so therefore it can't be cerebral. But at the same time, really having an introspective reflection, because doing this means we're holding ourselves accountable. We're holding ourselves accountable for what we are allowing ourselves to be, to do, to say, because renewal really isn't about just being, it's about doing and the thinking and what we say, what we bring, not just to ourselves, but to each other, because being of service, I believe in my heart that being of service to others is truly, there is nothing that is more fulfilling and is something that allows us to explore ourselves through others, actually, because we learn through them. So the renewal is also with ourselves, but in relation to others, and then the greater community, inner circle, outer circle, and then the big collective, you know, as we know it. So thank you. What a wonderful discussion.
Yes. And I would agree on the service. I think that that is a sign of spiritual, intellectual, emotional intelligence as well, and maturity, to be able to step aside from oneself and have the confidence to be able to do so, and to put your own needs and your own desires sometimes aside and focus on the greater, and to do so sacrificially sometimes.
And sometimes it's necessary. I mean, in order for the phoenix to rise, something has to give and be left in the ashes, right?
Yeah, and you're never more, I think, aligned or renewed than when you are of service to someone else.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. You're right. Because at the end of the day, all we take with us is ourselves. What have we imprinted on our own souls? What have we imprinted on other souls? And what have we imprinted in the world? What footprints are we leaving?
I agree. That's a beautiful, beautiful thought. Very
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yes, footprints that we're leaving. Would somebody else like to walk with you, behind you, or not? And why? These are all existential questions. They're important to renewal, I believe.
No, I agree.
Gone
And do you
very
walk
deep on this.
alone or allow someone to walk with you?
Right. Sometimes we do need to walk alone, you know. That growth, that self-introspection is often quite painful. And, you know, that the process of transformation can be painful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, chemicalizing the old and bringing in something absolutely unknown. It's kind of scary.
Definitely.
Yes. Yes. Personal growth is not, you know, just tiptoeing through the park.
No.
No, it's not.
And life coaching is exactly that. You know, it's
Yeah.
not a magic pill. It
Right.
is doing the introspection, the work, and co-creating with someone else. Which again is so beautiful because it's the service piece, you know, on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're coming to the end and the closing of our time together. I've so very much enjoyed it. And I'd like to ask you for if you wanted to provide or give some closing comments or in support of this subject, in support of people seeking renewal. Anyone, you can start.
I'll start by saying that renewal is definitely a big part of the growth process, and taking perspective of what is working and what isn't working for ourselves, and knowing what to let go and what to enhance upon as we continue to move forward in our growth. And there is no ceiling to that. We are able to just grow and to continue to grow as long as we're willing to put in the work and the effort, and in some cases seeking the assistance of a life coach to help us move forward in that journey.
Thank you, Stacey.
I would agree. I think renewal it's paramount for everybody. If there's still breath in my lungs, I'm still a work in progress. And there's always room for growth. There's always room for improvement to better myself and to better the world around me so that I can better it more. Um, and it is a process. I think I should always be able to look back and see that old woman versus the new woman and know that there's always room to continue. And it is that ongoing process and the constant refreshing and the constant bettering. And sometimes you do have to go through the fire and come out of the ashes better and stronger for it.
Yeah, I second all of that, and that the alignment and realignment piece of knowing this is something that I'm going to continuously do, and it's not ever the end, like Stacey said. And I think that we forget. We think we're going to get to a certain place and everything is going to be the way we want it, and that's not really how it works. We sort of get you go through life and you just get misaligned. Things come in, you go back and you think, okay, there are some things I need to let go. What do I want to keep? What do I want to delete? And yeah, and having a life coach is so helpful for that. I have my own coach still, and I just know every time I think, oh, I don't really need it anymore, I'll let it go a few, extra weeks, and then it's not a good idea because then I love that accountability to say, okay, where are we? Where do we want to go next? And yeah, it never ends.
Well, thank you, all of you. I wanted to leave with my own few words. I believe that when we have reached steps of renewal in life, because it's not just one time of renewal, one time of year or whatever it is, but there's steps of renewal towards becoming, there is wisdom in the ashes. There is wisdom left in the footprints that we leave in the ashes, that we're leaving behind. And yet we're bringing that wisdom with us forward. And we're creating new steps, new footprints into something else, into becoming and unfolding. So my invitation is for everyone to take those steps through the ashes into the unfoldment of becoming. Ladies, it's been a pleasure today to speak with you as always, to share space with you in time. I'd like to thank all of you. I'd like to thank all the viewers. And remember, this is Coffee with the Coaches. I'm your host, and this is Vino and Vision. We'll see you next month.